Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Islamic Defense Podcast. I'm joined by none other than Veedu Vidz and Hasan Redwan. Can you guys introduce yourself? Yo, V to the E to the D to the A. Veedu in the house. You misspelled your name. It's Veedu. Yeah, but A sounds good. A sounds good. It goes with the rhymes and everything. It sounds good. So, should I call you Vida then? No, dude. It's Veedu. And joining me is also Hasan Radwan. Hasan, introduce yourself. Assalamu alaikum. This is Bashar al-Assad. I'm happy to be here. Whoa. Dude, did you just call yourself Bashar al-Assad, as in the president of Syria? I am the president of Syria. Right. Wait, hang on a second. So are you telling me you're not Hasan Redwan? No, I'm Bashar al-Assad. I'm the president of Syria. Wait, so you're telling me you're not Hasan Redwan, aka this guy? No, I'm Bashar al-Assad, the president of Syria. Oh. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome back to another episode of Islamic Defense Podcast. Joining me is Veedu Vidz and Hasan Redwan. Sorry for the unfortunate technical difficulty. We mixed up our guests. Thankfully, Bashar al-Assad is on his way to prison. You guys made a video that trying to debunk some of the Prophet Muhammad's prophecies. What's interesting is that you seem to have cherry-picked some vague prophecies and completely ignored the prophecies that are extremely specific. Regardless, let's take a look at this clip.
نساء كاسيات عاريات, women who are covered yet uncovered. But you look at fashion today, Subhan al-Khaliq, clothed but unclothed.
When I heard this, I thought, this is referring to women showing their body, not being modest. But I thought, why is that new?
Exactly. I mean, it's been happening since time began.
Since time began, women and men have been trying to attract each other using different,
people use the word seductive clothes.
Since someone could conceive of it, it's happened.
Yeah.
So when Imam says this will happen, but it's already happened now, it's happening before Islam. There's nothing specific about this.
I find it difficult to comment on these. I know some people find these prophecies convincing, but when I was trying to actually, they are large in my mind. I have to find quite very much. And it's not that normal or imaginative idea that women will be clothed but unclothed.
And then in the hadith that I stated previously, they will walk seductively in a way to attract attention, to arouse desires.
If women did not try and seduce men, there would be no human beings. If women did not try and seduce men, there would be no human beings.
Is that true? If women didn't seduce man, there would be no human beings on earth and no one would do anything? That there would be no children? Well, of course. Okay, I mean, come on, man. You can't possibly believe that. Look, man, all I'm saying is that if women didn't seduce man, humans wouldn't exist. Why is that so hard to believe? 'Cause it's impossible? Oh, come on, man. Just look at my wife. Do you honestly think I married her because she's a decent human being and a smart person or something? Okay, so we are back. Sorry, there was a medical emergency. Veedu, man, are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay, I guess. Okay, there's a bunch of problems with your argument. Point number one, you said women seduced men in the past. Therefore, the prophecy is vague and cannot be a prophecy. First of all, that's a red herring fallacy. In the past, women may have seduced men by wearing seductive dresses, but that has nothing to do with this prophecy. And number two, Hasan said people used to go to the Kaaba naked.
People used to go around the Kaaba naked.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, that's true. But the Prophet didn't say women in the future would be naked. So it's not the same thing. He said that they would be dressed like they are naked. Also, that was only in Kaaba, not in other places. The Prophet talks about women dressing like this in public, not just in Kaaba. Also, Islam stopped this practice of people going to the Kaaba and being naked. So why would the Prophet prophesy about something that he himself stopped? Isn't that counterproductive? Doesn't that go against what he's saying or what he's trying to achieve or what Islam is trying to achieve? Number 3. Also, I did some research and it turns out that there is no evidence behind your claim. I looked at some 6th century pre-Islamic dress of Arab women and they were quite modest, to be honest. According to one article by World Civilization, also 2 other articles by Word for You, it shows that both Byzantine and Persian women dressed very modestly. I mean, just take a look at this picture. Does it look like they're dressed yet undressed? No, it looks like they're very much well dressed. So what the Prophet is describing in the Hadith was not something that was happening in the present times, because women of that time did not dress like that. They were actually very well dressed and civilized. Obviously, there are exceptions, but for the most part, they were very well dressed. As a matter of fact, this becomes a lot clearer if you read this whole hadith in full context. The hadith reads as follows. The Prophet Muhammad said, "There are 2 types of denizens of hell whom I have not seen yet. People having flogs like the tails of the ox. With them they would be beating people. And the woman who would be dressed but will appear to be naked. What would be inclined to evil and make their husbands inclined towards it," meaning they will try to make their husband do evil things. "Their heads will be like the humps of a booked camel, inclined to one side. They will not enter paradise, and they would not smell its odor, whereas its odor would be smelled from such and such distance." This can be found in Sahih Muslim 2128, book number 37, hadith number 190. Now, here the Prophet makes it crystal clear that he's talking about the future and not something that happened in the past or was happening at the time. Because he says, 2 are the types of denizens of hell whom I did not see yet. So this makes it clear he haven't seen it happening at the time, meaning he has not seen them yet. So this was not happening in the present. What is interesting is that you guys ignored the first part of the hadith where he says that people having flogs like the tails of an ox with them, and they would be beating people with it. Now this is very interesting because this prophecy is very specific, because he describes what the flog would look like, flog or the whip. What's interesting is that according to National Museum of African American History and Culture, one of the commonly used whip that was used to beat African American slaves aboard the slave ships during the Atlantic slave trade looks exactly like the tail of an ox, exactly as the Prophet described it. So we have strong reason to believe that this could be the slave traders of the Atlantic slave trade. Now another hadith makes it clear. In Islam, it is haram to take a free man and sell them as slave, according to this hadith narrated by Abu Hurairah, where he said that the Prophet said, "Allah says, I will be against 3 persons on the day of judgment. 1 who makes a covenant in my name, but he proves to be treacherous," meaning person who gives their word but breaks it. 1 who sells a free man as a slave and eats the price, one who sells slaves, takes a free man and then sells him as a slave. And 1 who employs a laborer and gets the full work done by him but does not pay him full wages. People who doesn't pay their workers. This hadith can be found in Sahih al-Bukhari 2227. We know that the Atlantic slave trades did forcefully kidnap villagers from their villages and take slaves from African villages. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised in the hadith that he would be against such people. So now that we read the full hadith, we can see this prophecy is not vague at all. It gives specific details about what these people of hell would look like. Also, according to Imam Al Nawai, the meaning of women who will be dressed yet appear to be naked is that they will be semi-nude. Part of their body will be covered whilst the other part will remain exposed. This can be found in Sharh al Nawawi on Sahih Muslim, page number 1603. I think if we look at any Hollywood celebrity or red carpet event, it becomes quite obvious who the Prophet is talking about here. And since this type of dress were not worn by Arabian women at the time, we can safely say that it's a prophecy that has been fulfilled, and whether it happened in the past or not is relevant, because at the end of the day the Prophet still has no way of knowing whether this will come back or not. It's like me saying people will start to wear 1950s dress again. I mean, how would I know that people will start to wear 1950s dress again? It's impossible for me to know this. So how would the Prophet know?
The end of time won't come until you see mountains removed from their places. When I was in Mecca, there's mountains have been removed from Mecca.
Oh, come on, mountains move all the time. It's a lucky guess. So you guys believe in luck then? No, those are stupid superstition. Luck don't exist, just like God. So let me get this straight. One day the Prophet told his followers that 2 mountains will be removed in the future, and he names these 2 mountains, and thousands of years later they just randomly disappears, exactly as he said. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Okay, so if I say you, Veedu Vidz, will disappear in a few moments, will that really randomly just happen? Maybe. Huh. What do you know? I guess he was right.
I mean, you go to any someone like Nostradamus, anyone who's made any soothsayer, sage, seer, oracle of the past, and you find all these vague statements.
Yep.
And you can apply them to anything.
Wait, what the hell just happened? What happened is that you guys made a stupid argument. You committed the faulty comparison fallacy when you compared Nostradamus to Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Nostradamus was not a prophet by any means. He never performed any miracles. Both Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and Jesus performed miracles. He did not have a large influence, Nostradamus. He did not have a great character or moral like Jesus or Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. His prophecies are very, very vague. However, Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam made many prophecies that are so accurate and specific. It's crazy. For example, before the Battle of Badr began, the Prophet prophesied about the people who will die in the battlefield, and he pointed out the exact location of the places where they will die. He touched the ground and showed his followers where these people's bodies will be found. And the funny thing is, after the battle ended, their bodies were found exactly in the location where he pointed out, or the grounds where he touched. They found their bodies in exactly those places. This is impossible for a normal human being to do. He named the people who will die and where they will die. That's exactly how they died. The hadith goes as follows. Umar ibn Khattab radhiyallahu anhu reports in a narration recorded in Sahih Muslim that before the Battle of Badr started, God's messenger walked around the battlefield and pointed to us some locations, saying Abu Jahl will be killed here, Utbah will be killed here, Shayba will be killed here, and Walid will be killed here, and so on. And by God, we found after the battle the dead bodies of all those men in the exact place that God's messenger had pointed out. This is collected by Muslim 1779 and Abu Dawud 2681, which is authenticated by Sheikh Albani in Sahih Abu Dawud 2403. Now, it's impossible for something like this to happen by chance, and there are hundreds of examples like this. He predicted the Black Plague, Mongol invasion, the Ottoman Empire, etc., etc., with specific details and pinpoint accuracy. Inshallah, we'll make a separate video for this.
There will be poor people who were the desert people, and they were poor, and they were taking care of goats and animals, and then they'll begin to build huge buildings. These are signs before your very eyes.
So basically, that poor people who herding goats will then be people who have massive buildings, a lot of money, and people send to Saudi. And look at the world today. The Arab world is all building huge buildings, Khalifa and so on.
Absolutely. So again, we are placing the target on the bullets that have already been shot. So we are saying that it's Burj Khalifa or the Arabs, but why can't this apply to the Chinese?
Now, this hadith is talking about Arabs specifically. It's interesting that you guys cherry-picked, just watched this video and didn't do any research, because I've taken a look at this, and in one of the narrations, the Prophet actually mentions that he he's talking about Arabs. And now I'm gonna show a clip from a video that was made by the channel Muslim Allegation Hunter. By the way, if you are not subscribed to their channel, please do. I'm giving a shout out. It's a great channel. They debunk all kind of anti-Islamic or Islamophobic nonsense. They also expose a lot of Christian missionary channels that are lying about Islam. So I highly recommend it. Check it out. Check out their channel. So in the channel, they mention this hadith, and they show various narrations from different isnads. And in one of the isnads, the Prophet mentions this, and it's a Sahih isnad. Okay, so the hadith reads as follows. When you see the owners of goats competing in constructing tall buildings, and when you see the barefoot hungry people or leaders of people, then this is of the features of the hour and its signs. He, Angel Gabriel, asked the Prophet, O Messenger of Allah, who are the owners of goats and barefoot and hungry people? He, the Prophet, said, the Arabs. And there you go, mic dropped. He very specifically said that it's the Arabs, and this hadith can be found in Musnad Ahmed. The hadith number is 2926. This is a Sahih hadith, Sahih and authentic hadith. So yeah, and you can find if you want to see more detailed explanation of this, you can check out Muslim Allegation Hunter's video on this. So yeah. What's interesting is that the Arabs were not known to build tall buildings, for a long time. They lived very poorly. Today, one of the highest concentrations of tall buildings in the world is in the Arab Peninsula, specifically in the areas in which Bedouin Arabs lived. The Burj Khalifa in Dubai is one of the world's tallest man-made structures at 828 meters. A short time after it was completed, a rival family in Saudi Arabia announced that they would also build an even taller building, which is 1,000 meters. The Kingdom Tower, they're going to call it, probably. So the Arabs are competing with one another in building tall buildings. So what motivated Prophet Muhammad ﷺ to even make such a prediction? If he was going to make such a prophecy, would it not make more sense to relate this prophecy to the superpowers of his time? Like the Roman Empire or the Persian Empire or the Chinese Empire, who, unlike the Arabs, were already known to build tall buildings and palaces. For example, the Hagia Sophia Cathedral was built by the Romans, by the Roman Emperor in 537 CE, the century before Prophet Muhammad, and it remained the world's largest building for nearly 1,000 of years. Well, how do you know it's not a self-fulfilling prophecy? Well, Prophet Muhammad himself did not like Muslims to be involved in trying to unnecessarily increase their wealth. He didn't like riches. As a matter of fact, he oftentimes warned his followers not to live a wealthy life. For example, in one of the hadith, he says, "It is not poverty that I fear for you. Rather, what I fear for you is that worldly riches, or the riches of the world, that will be given to you as they were given to those who came before you, and you will compete for them with one another as the nations before you competed with one another, and you will be destroyed as the nations before you were destroyed." Narrated by Al-Bukhari. This can be found in 2000. The hadith number is 2988, and Muslim 2961. Now, as you can see, he did not like tall buildings, or he did not like luxurious buildings or extravagant buildings. He was a simple man who lived in a simple house and wanted other Muslims to maintain that simplicity. That is what he taught and how he lived. If he wanted to will this prophecy to become true, he would have encouraged the Arabs to build tall buildings and perhaps start off trying to do that himself. In fact, the Quran itself discourages Muslims from building tall buildings or from this type of behavior. In the Holy Quran, it says, Do you build on every height a monument? Vain is it that you do, and you make strong fortress as if you will live forever. This can be found in chapter number 26, verse number 128 to 129.
يكون الولد غيظا, children become filled with rage. أن يكون المطر قيظا, rain becomes burning or acidic, acid rain. These are signs. يا ابن مسعود إن من علامة الساعة وأشراطها أن تواصل الأطباق وأن تقطع الأرحام. This to me is one of the clear prophetic miracles of the Prophet ﷺ. He said, تواصل الأطباق, that the dishes will be communicating continuously, and the Prophet used the very word that's used for satellite communications, muwasalat, and people will sever their family ties. In other words, people will stay home and watch television on satellite dish, and they won't go visit their neighbors.
I'm not accusing him of lying, but he's obviously reading into something which isn't there. And so he says, Tawasul al-atbaq means the communication of dishes, because tabaq can also mean dish. And he says that means satellite dishes, which is just kind of out of the blue and completely out of sync with what the hadith is talking about. As I say, it's juxtaposing good will be bad while bad will be good, old will be servants while young will be masters, treacherous will be trusted while the trustworthy will be distrusted, strangers will consort with each other while families will be estranged.
Absolutely. So
I mean, it makes perfect sense in Arabic and in logic to suddenly say that treacherous will be trusted while the trustworthy will be distrusted, and satellite dishes will communicate with each other and families will be estranged. Yeah. I mean, it's like, you've suddenly inserted something that doesn't make any sense simply because your confirmation bias wants to see some sort of amazing prophecy in there.
I think that when you look at these prophecies properly and you read the proper words in Arabic, you realize there's no mention of satellite dishes. Unfortunately, Hamza Yusuf is reaching or inserting in this case.
Now, this hadith is actually weak, and it was cited by At-Tabarani, may Allah be pleased with him. It can be found in Al-Mujam Al-Aswat and Al-Mujam Al-Kabir, both reported on the authority of Ibn Masud, may Allah be pleased with him. At-Tabarani commented on this hadith and another one preceding it, saying no one reported these two hadith from Mubarak ibn Fadahla except Saif ibn Miskin. Now, Saif ibn Miskin, the guy who narrated this hadith, was considered a very weak reporter by the scholars of hadith. It was cited by At-Tabarani in Al-Awsat and Al-Kabir, and in the chain of narration it includes Saif ibn Miskin, who is a weak reporter. This can be found in Mawjam Az-Zawaid. Hence, as you can see, all these scholars and many more have all declared that this guy, one of the narrators, was very weak. Therefore, we cannot accept this hadith. It's a weak hadith. Also, this whole nonsense about this satellite dish is not even in the hadith. So with that, I think I'll end the video. Inshallah, in the future, I'll make a very detailed video about prophecies made by Prophet Muhammad ﷺ from authentic sources. And I'm talking about hardcore, undeniable prophecies that proves that without a shadow of doubt that he indeed was the last messenger of God. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallahu khairan. Wait, what about Veedu? Where did he go? Well, you guys believe that if people make random prediction, it will come true, right? Yeah? Well, maybe he will randomly show up. Wait, you guys won't believe where I was. Save it for the next episode when I'm back with these two to discuss whether Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is prophesied in the Bible or not. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe and click the bell icon for more content. And inshallah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.
حسرات